Over the years, we have been improving the quality of our health and social care services through incremental changes. But these services are being seriously stretched by the demands of a growing population, increased life expectancy, and cost pressures. Although still important, we need to do more than make incremental changes if we're going to create a sustainable future in a complex system like health and social care. We need large-scale transformational change. And that means not only changing the way we do things, it means changing the way we see our world. Imagine a river flowing through a village. The river constantly changes in many small ways, higher or lower, muddier or clearer. But while it changes a bit every day, it remains recognizable as the river that flows through the village. Now imagine that in order to support national renewable energy policy, it is decided to build a dam upstream, which means changing the course of the river and rerouting it around the village. A new infrastructure would need to be created, affecting everyone in the village and surrounding areas: transport, housing, education, and so on. Consultations with lots of stakeholders take place: individuals and existing businesses, lots of suppliers and organisations involved in planning, construction work, and developers of new technologies in renewable energy. Then, the work commences. As a result, every aspect of village life will be impacted. It is difficult to absorb. If you left the village as a child and returned years later to find that where the river once flowed, there is now a new shopping street, then you would feel an inability to reconcile what you see now with what was there before. But people living in the village throughout the period would have experienced it as incremental change on a daily basis. In large-scale change, a constancy of purpose ties the incremental effort together to create something altogether different in the end. Large-scale transformational change requires engaging a large number of people, groups, and organisations. It requires a shared purpose and collective vision, with a desire to work together on a shared set of multiple goals for the future. That means implementing integrated changes in structures, processes, patterns of behaviour, and outcomes. It's often complex and requires innovative thinking and commitment to the vision. With small-scale improvements, we are used to having rigorous control of the project. With large-scale change, it's different. With so many people and organisations involved, there are bound to be things over which you have no control. The challenge is how you would collectively, with others, deal with these uncertainties and emerging changes during the transformation, so that you jointly move towards your shared vision, recognising that the vision may impact upon each of your services differently. It requires taking a different approach to managing risk and coping with rapidly changing situations and ambiguity, and shifting your focus from what you would pay attention to in smaller scale changes. All in all, it can feel quite messy. To lead transformational change, there are two words to keep in mind: influence and emergence. They will shape much of what it means to lead and deliver large-scale change. Becoming a leader of large-scale change is a challenge. Rather than being in sole control, you will probably be working with multiple distributed leaders, similar to a coalition, each of whom feels ownership of the change, and each making fairly autonomous decisions. You therefore have to assume that the only way you'll get others to change is through influence rather than control. What motivates and inspires you might not work for others. To build commitment, you need to keep reframing the messages depending on who you're talking to. After all, a clinician is likely to be interested in very different aspects of the transformation than a commissioner or someone from finance. Delivering transformational change isn't going to happen all at once, and things may happen that you hadn't expected. In transformational change, you are dealing with complex systems, so it can be unhelpful to overly plan and orchestrate a change. Often it is about letting go and allowing solutions to emerge from others. So, engagement is critical, and helping parts of the system to connect to other parts. The key is to think in terms of cycles of change rather than rigid linear planning, so using experimentation to find a way forward. That way you allow for emergence and systematically create widening engagement. The skills required for small-scale change are different to those needed to deliver transformational change. And although some of the service improvement practices will underpin transformational change, a very different set of skills and practices need to be applied. For example, framing changes for multiple audiences, being prepared to let go, and allowing for the emergence of solutions. That's why, as well as our CUSA programs, we are offering transformational change programs to help all those seeking to tackle system-wide change in complex health and care environments. TCSL is a program for senior cross-system leadership teams who want to build their capability to deliver major change. The program gives you access to expert professional support and peer groups from healthcare systems across the country. Through a series of workshops, you'll build your knowledge and skills in transformational change and then directly apply them to your own change area. Our CUSA programs focus on service improvement. They've been developed for both clinical and non-clinical staff and are delivered in a variety of levels to suit you, whatever your experience. Ideally, NHS organisations and health systems will participate in both incremental service improvement and large-scale transformational change, because it's only by implementing both that we will deliver effective, efficient and sustainable local services. To get us from where we are now to where we need to be will require a large-scale mindset shift in order to deliver transformational change. You may have implemented many service improvements in the past, but to deliver change that's large in scale and large in impact requires a different set of skills and mindset than you will have used before. Because transformational or large-scale change changes everything.